All right. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the morning. I thought it was really fantastic. Actually, I'm going to be continuing on some of the conversation threads that have been going on in terms of talking about social technology. One of the things that's really amazing is to think about the velocity that the younger generation has taken on when it comes to technology. Certainly looking at my two children, there isn't a weekend where I don't see them, playing with some sort of connected device. And I think certainly also here being in Singapore, you see children taking on technology in absolutely incredible ways. So one of the things that we talk about at Microsoft is this notion of connected consumer trends, how everything really comes together and the greater convergence between the different types of behaviors and the different kinds of platforms that are out there. And there are many consumer trends out there that are really providing this new level of convergence. Certainly in the area of entertainment, interesting to note that more people are watching the Olympics online today than they are on their television. Absolutely extraordinary. In the area of mobile, there are more smart devices now that are being sold than PCs. Who would have thought about that? And then taking a look at some other categories like social. Obviously, we'll hear this morning, Caroline talked about what Facebook is up to. Social is the biggest growth driver on the internet, absolutely fundamentally changing the way that we surf and the way that we share content. Consumerization of IT, I know this is a bit of a techie one. Consumerization of IT essentially is this notion that consumers are completely changing the way that enterprises are adopting technology. Very simply, you come into the office with all of your gear and you're telling your CIO, well, that's the phone that I want to use. That is the slate that I want to use. I want to be on Facebook. I want to be on Twitter. And that is fundamentally challenging CIOs around the world in terms of the deployment of technology. Gartner has said that consumerization of IT is the biggest trend that will be affecting the technology industry in the next decade. And finally, apps. Yeah, we love our apps. Apps have changed the way that we surf. They have changed the way that we absorb content. And I think, looking at my kids, I think apps are also wiring children's brains fundamentally differently. So this is just kind of a quick highlight on these consumer-connected trends. But this technology convergence I was talking about before, if you think about it, just a couple of years ago, you were taking a film to put it in your television. You were putting your CD in a CD player. And today what's happened is really the merger of all of these different experiences. It doesn't really matter what kind of content you have. It can pretty much play and be absorbed on any kind of platform. So we fundamentally see all of these different kinds of behaviors emerging. So, watching movies on your television programs, on your PC, in terms of looking at browsing the internet on a phone, in terms of visiting social networking sites with your smartphone. There's lots and lots of behaviors happening on smartphone, watching your videos, listening to music, browsing the internet with a game video console. So one of the things I was thinking about recently, and I was reading this blog post, is, well, what about all these technologies? What is really the fundamental impact that they're having on our lives? Are they really making us happier? We all have a gazillion gizmos in our purses, in our bags. And then there was this really interesting article that was talking about this sociologist professor at New York University. Her name is Dr. Anna Akbari, a bit complicated to remember. And she was making the sort of the theory that it is possible to really have a different relationship with technology than is often talked about. And she was going as far as talking about it in the context of digital happiness or digital bliss. And of course, working for a technology company, I thought that was incredibly interesting. And she really looks at the 4 different pillars that technology needs to draw on in order for us to achieve this digital bliss. She talks about technologies fundamentally needing to help us identify other people. So that's the first thing. Second, she talks about technology being able to help us connect with other people. Thirdly, technologies that allow us to track what we're doing, sort of a life log or life tracking system. And finally, technologies that help us structure the world around us, so technologies that make us more productive. And she makes the assumption that if technologies draw on these 4 fundamental pillars, then we can achieve digital happiness. Pretty interesting. So one of the things I wanted to share with you today are the results of a survey that we did to further investigate this notion of digital happiness. Is it true that technology is separating people, or is actually technology helping bring people together? And we at Microsoft have conducted a survey across 7 markets in China and Southeast Asia, looking at 3,000 plus consumers. And we asked them, we put them to task, what about this notion of digital bliss? What is technology doing to your relationship? Is it helping? Is it fostering new ways to get together, or is it really coming in the way? So here's some of the results. First of all, what's interesting to note is, and you already know this, technology is absolutely obsessed. Asia is absolutely obsessed with technology. They have a technology lust. APAC families absolutely adore their technology. And in fact, when you look at the number of gizmos in families, on average, people have about 4 to 6 devices, with families in the Philippines and Singapore alone having over 10 gadgets. So Singapore definitely leads the way. But we also importantly asked them, what about the relationship that all these gadgets have to your life? And overwhelmingly, 86% have said, you know what, technology is helping make my life better. It is helping me get closer to the people that I love. Okay, interesting. Connection. Get a lot of connection and a lot of joy time coming out of this particular technology. Not surprisingly, in some of the more emerging markets, you see telephones still playing a very important role. But I think what's interesting to note is even countries like the Philippines, now predominantly people are saying, you know, it's social networking that's helping me connect to my family and friends. So fundamentally really shifting from some of the older communication platforms to the new ones. Checking in, that's what people do with technology. They're not just doing productivity and email, they're actually checking in with their families. They're using technology to get closer to each other. They're using technology to just ask, are you okay? It could be a quick status update. And they're using technology also to connect with people who are overseas. About 40% of the sample that we talked to. Interesting to note in Singapore, that's about double, maybe because there's a lot of families that are overseas. And the best part, I thought, was that we asked people, you know, would you want to get other of your family members who are not online? I mean, because is it really that important? Is it that good to you that you would want everybody to be online? And overwhelmingly, people did say, yeah, I want to get all of my family online. 69% said, you know, if my family is online, I'll be able to contact everybody on a more regular basis. So clearly, there's opportunity. Digital bliss is upon us. And sharing pictures is overwhelmingly one of the preferred things that people do online. I think it fits very well also with what Caroline talked about this morning. This is a no surprise. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you is, you know, what have we done with this information? There is opportunity to talk about how technologies are bringing people together as opposed to tearing them apart. There is opportunity to look at some of the funny, quirky behaviors that people are having, how they're interacting with each other, older generations, younger generations. And we've leveraged those insights to roll out a new global brand campaign for a variety of our products, Windows PC, Xbox, Office, phone. It's just gone live in 35 markets. And I just wanted to share with you some of the spots. I'll be showing the spots from the Philippines, Indonesia, and Singapore. So have a look and let me know what you think afterwards.
It all starts with a Windows 7 PC.
It all starts with the Windows 7 PC.
Semua berawal dari komputer Windows 7.
So what's next? How are we going to continue to leverage on this insight, on this notion that technology can be a great foster of family togetherness? But I want to share with you something that we're very excited about at Microsoft in terms of the future of what's coming next for us. And it's going to look something like this. We call it the Metro system. Essentially, it's going to be our new user interface, going to be coming out to the market in a couple of months. And what you're going to be seeing here is a complete level of connectedness and complete level of integration that helps foster what I've been talking about before, which is whether you're on a Slate tablet, whether you're on your PC, whether you're on your phone, or whether you're playing Xbox, the whole user interface of how you're going to be accessing your content is going to look something like this. It's going to be tactile, it's going to be voice-enabled, and it's going to completely redefine how you've ever thought of Windows and, to a greater extent, Microsoft. So look out for it. What's also next is, for us, thinking differently about the way that we do marketing. I think all of us here today, I was just telling BBC, it's been striking to me that we all are speaking very much from the same voice. It's no longer about pushing marketing, but doing marketing with consumers. And I wanted to show you, to finish my presentation, something that we've worked on with a Connect group. Connect is just a year old. It's our fastest consumer electronic device, been winning the Guinness World Book of Records. Sometimes people say, so what has Microsoft done lately? Have you done any innovations? Yeah, we have some pretty cool stuff. But the reason I wanted to show you this is this notion of connected consumer trends start with the consumer first. And it's important to listen to the consumer and embed them at the heart of your innovation. And I think Connect will really demonstrate how we're doing that. Here you go.
We started with a sensor that turned voice and movement into magic.
Xbox, play.
And we thought, this will be fun to play with. And it was. But something amazing is happening. The world is starting to imagine things we hadn't even thought of. Unexpected things. Helpful things. Beautiful things. Inspired things. Which is why, even though the world keeps asking us what we'll do with Connect next, we're just as excited to ask the world the same thing.
So we want to hear from you. You'll be what's next. Help us on our journey. Tell us what we should do with our technologies. And tweet me. Give me some ideas. Thank you very much.